So it's on. Good morning. So the next stage of making the bread, this is the sourdough we made last night from the starter that's now back in the fridge. You can see how nice and bubbly it is. In fact, you can hear how nice and bubbly it is. It smells great. So we're going to put that on the scales, and there's 300 grams of that in there, because you know that because we had 150 of the original. Yeah, anyway, we said that last night. So to that we're going to add 450 grams of flour in total. I'm going to do about a third white and a third wholemeal. These two are white. That's Bacalda mill, which is lovely, and Shipton mill. Wholemeal's in there. So 300 of this. I got the other one because I'm not sure whether there'll be enough, but there is. Oops, 307, that'll do. And make it up to 450 with the wholemeal. I think this is Dove's wholemeal. $4.50. There we go. And what I did forget to get out is the salt. Hang on. So to that we're going to add about 9 grams of salt. This is sea salt, and it's 9 grams because the FSA guidelines reckon that your proportion of salt should be 1% of the baked weight of the loaf, which is roughly about 900 grams. I reckon that makes it about right. So, water. The standard amount I use is about 270 mils, but if you're using wholemeal, sometimes I find you need to add a bit extra. But this is where experience comes in, because you get to know what the dough should look and feel like. So we'll try 270 for now and see what it looks like. 272, that'll do. And that's the scales done with. And down there. So I don't need, as a rule, all I'm going to do now is mix it. And you'll see in a minute how I leave it. I know some people are fans of kneading and just feel that they have to, but you don't need to. Ha, you don't need to. You see what I did? Val's laughing. She doesn't always laugh at my jokes. So that's starting to come together. But to me now that looks a bit on the dry side. I prefer mine a bit wetter. So we'll add about another 10 grams probably. Yeah, about that much. Again, I know it's not spot on. The thing is, different batches of flour, different protein contents, different grains, they're often not identical, so you sometimes find you need to adjust it. In fact, in the old days, when millers and farmers worked together, the farmer never knew what the protein content of the flour was going to be until it was harvested, and then the baker would talk to the miller, and hang on, I'll just turn the washer off. So the baker would then talk to the miller, and the baker would adjust his recipe to suit the flour that was available, rather than the other way around. Like now, if you look at every bag of Dove's flour, it's 12%. That's because they adjust the flour content, the grain content, so they get a consistent thing. Like that is it. I'm going to leave that like that. You can see how the gluten's starting to develop a bit. But all I'll do now, I'll leave that for a couple of hours, and we'll come back in a couple of hours, and I'll stretch and fold, and I'll show you how I stretch and fold. But for now, that's it. I'm going to leave it in the kitchen at room temperature, cover it with a bit of cling film. Done.